You know, it's no secret. We live in a world and a culture that is constantly vying for our time and attention. Everywhere you look, everywhere you go in today's world, there are apps, media, devices, influencers, content creators vying for your attention. The largest companies in the world, the richest business owners in the world have built their entire empires off of harnessing, leveraging, and arbitraging your attention. Apps like social media, Facebook, Amazon, Tinder are all designed to keep you locked in and engaged in using their services for as long as possible for free so they can monetize you and your attention. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching this video on YouTube, there's a couple things that I already know about you. For one, you're struggling with the compulsive and addictive behavior to pornography and masturbation that you're trying to break free from. And that's what we're dedicated at doing here at The Rebuilt Man, is giving you the tools, the tactics, the mindset, the principles, and the framework to quit porn and rebuild your life so you can go on and become the man that God has called you to be. But by you sharing that with me and by knowing that you're here, I can probably also tell you that you don't go any length of time throughout the day being away from your phone. And in fact, 85 to 90% of people spend less than 15 minutes a day, more than an arm's reach away from their phone. I can tell you that you probably take your phone with you to bed unless you actually follow what we've taught in terms of how to not hit the snooze button. I can tell you probably take your phone with you when you go to the restroom. You probably take your phone everywhere you go. And at any point in time when you feel distracted, when you feel anxious, nervous, tired, stressed, you have a drug in your pocket that serves just like a pacifier that allows you to alleviate and release some of that tension that is associated with those internal feelings of stress, anxiety, timidness. We always have an outlet. We always have something vying for our attention, something that we can distract ourselves from. Get short bursts of dopamine with new image after new image. Maybe it's a news ticker. Maybe it's a CNN panel. Maybe it's social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, constant feeding us new stimuli time and time and time and time again. And the more time we spend on these apps, especially ones like Instagram and TikTok, which are building short attention spans in every single one of us, the harder it becomes for us to focus on the more meaningful things in our life. You know, one of the things that we hear from all the guys that we work with is that their addiction and use of pornography has hijacked their ability to really lock in and focus on the important things in life. They're constantly thinking about the next scene. They're constantly thinking about the next hit of dopamine. They're constantly thinking about the next stimuli. So I want to talk to you about how getting control of this behavior, quitting porn, rebooting your brain, rewiring yourself will improve your focus, will improve your attention, will give you more clarity, focus, drive, and ambition to go out there and do the things that you want to do in this world. So if we know that it's hijacking our time and attention, and we know that everywhere we go, we are constantly being stimulated, I believe that the path to breaking free is by learning to live in our own thoughts, learning to live not being distracted. You know, one thing we try to encourage all the men that come to us and join our program to do is stop going to bed. Stop taking your technology devices into your bedroom. Try every day to learn how to go without your phone. Look for short opportunities, whether it's at your work desk, whether it's not taking your phone with you into the bathroom, whether it's taking a trip to the corner store, to the grocery store, or when I go to the gym, I'm going to leave my phone in the car. When I go on my 30-minute walk, I'm going to leave my phone at home. Or when I go into the bathroom, I'm going to leave the phone on the counter and not take it in there with me. Little opportunities throughout the day to learn to say no, to sit in our own thoughts. You know, it's interesting. Over the last 5 years, there's been this massive rise in mindfulness discussions. Like mindfulness is the new biohack. Mindfulness is the new key secret to success. You telling me people 20 years ago didn't know mindfulness? No. Life was set up in a way that mindfulness was already integrated into the things that they did. When you went to a doctor's or dentist appointment, you had to sit in the waiting room and be mindful and be present. Yeah, maybe you had a magazine, you read a Sports Illustrated, a couple articles. Maybe there was one station on the television screen when you're sitting in a wait room. But for most of us, we had to sit there and be present and mindful in our thoughts. When you're commuting, maybe you had one radio station that you could listen to that had some advertisements. So maybe you'd be locked into one song, but you spent some time in your own thoughts. Now, most of us are spending our time behind the wheel, scrolling through social media, or when you're in the gym in between sets, or when you're at dinner sitting by yourself. Little moments sprinkled throughout the day where we were forced to look within, spend time in our own thoughts, process those, become aware of the mind, mindfulness, aware of the mind. Now, in this world and society that is constantly vying for our attention and has weapons against us everywhere we go, we have to be intentional about those mindfulness moments. That's one thing I love about the cold plunge, is every day I'm forced 3 to 5 minutes to breathe, control, calm, look within, think, regulate. Or when I'm sitting in the sauna, look within, think, regulate. That's why we encourage 30-minute walks outside without your phone. That's why I encourage you going to the restroom without your phone. This is why I've integrated going to the grocery store without my phone into my life. I have a small piece of paper. The items that I'm there to get, I run through the list, I check out, I process, I go home. That's it. Little opportunities. Some of you are in our coaching program. Some of you are in various WhatsApp groups that we have. You guys know that for the vast majority of the day, when I'm upstairs in my office at home, my phone sits downstairs. Like, I cannot be interrupted by my phone when I'm supposed to be working. Now, there's tools and ways that you can actually assist in doing this yourself. We've had a lot of guys that we've recommended getting phone lock boxes for. Every day, start with an hour, up it to 2, up it to 4, up it to 6, up it to 8. Learn to go an entire day without looking at your phone. Do you know how incredibly freeing and powerful that is? To know that you can go a day and not have to check your phone. And trust me, none of you are important enough that your world would collapse if you were away from your phone for a day. None of you. But by leveraging this in our life, by learning and focusing and being intentional about developing this, we learn the control to break that compulsive pattern that we have with our phone. It's the compulsiveness that leads to the addiction. It's the constant scrolling that over time depletes our dopamine receptors and needs us to get a massive spike and hit. So we can be intentional about this for a short period of time. We can go through a healing, rebooting, rewiring process in ourselves that will equip us to then step out and be free of this thing. And the byproduct is more focus, more attention, more energy, more drive, more motivation to go out there and do the things that you're supposed to be doing. But you got to be intentional about it, guys, early on. If you're looking for a framework to help you in doing this, in addition to staying away from your phone, in addition to learning to practice to live and deny yourself of your phone on a regular, consistent basis, we put together free training that teaches the 12 steps to freedom in your life from pornography. The old system is broken. I identified so many gaps in the 12-step process that people have been following for hundreds of years, and we've revamped it and revitalized it with a new approach to addiction recovery that is built on scientific principles with a proven track record of success. If you go to rebuildrecovery.com/12 steps, you can get access to this training immediately, but it'll walk you through the framework that you're going to need to follow, guys. Okay? But learn to say no. Learn to live without your phone. Begin to integrate small periods within your day, little opportunities to not be stimulated, to not have your attention going elsewhere. Begin to look in, practice mindfulness, and that is the pathway to being free with more focus, more clarity, more attention. God bless you guys. If you got value out of these episodes, subscribe here on YouTube, guys. I ask you every single week to support us, and I want you to be notified when those episodes released. If you're listening on the audio side, guys, leave us that 5-star rating right there on Apple. But we appreciate you guys. Coach Frank of the Rebuild Man, we love you. See you in the next one.